Going live in, start again. Going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are live.
Prynhawn da a croeso i'r gyfarfod blynyddol cyffredinol bod iechyd prifysgol Cymraeg Morgannwg sy'n cael y gynnol gyhoeddus. Good afternoon and welcome to the annual general meeting of Cymraeg Morgannwg University Health Board, which is being held in public. We are broadcasting today's meeting of the AGM live, and I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all those who may be observing the meeting today. But of course, to remind colleagues that a copy of the video of the meeting will be available on our website following today's proceedings. Item 2 of our agenda today is a formal presentation of the Cymraeg Morgannwg University Health Board annual report and accounts for 2022-2023, and I'm now going to ask Gareth Watts to formally present the report and accounts. Thank you, Gareth.
Diolch yn fawr, Cadeirydd, Prynhawn da pawb. Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, everybody. So what we're presenting today is the annual report and accounts. This is a unified document which has 3 component parts. The performance report, which outlines the overall key strategic objectives and risks which Cymraeg Morgannwg Health Board face. The accountability report, which outlines our compliance with various governance procedures and includes the remuneration report and the annual governance statement, and the financial statements themselves, of which more will be said under the next item on this agenda. So this document has already gone through a number of processes through its development, and on behalf of the board, I'd like to express thanks to all the various internal bodies that have been involved in the development of this document, and in particular our former head of corporate governance, Wendy Penryn-Jones, who led on coordinating a lot of this work. So thanks in particular to Wendy, but to all colleagues across the organisation that were involved in putting this document together. The document's also been subject to rigorous both internal and external scrutiny, and again I'd like to extend thanks to colleagues from Internal Audit, from Audit Wales, and from the Welsh Government in respect of their contribution to this process as well. This annual report and accounts was approved by the board on the 27th of July of this year, and was subsequently certified by the Auditor General for Wales on the 28th of July and laid at the Senedd on the 31st of July. So the purpose of today is to formally record that the Health Board has produced its annual report and accounts in accordance with the guidance issued by the Welsh Government and by His Majesty's Treasury, and that following this annual general meeting, the annual report will be published on the Health Board's website and will be available in both Welsh and English. Diolch.
Thank you, Gareth. I don't know whether colleagues have any comments or questions. The report has been previously approved, but could I just place on record my thanks to the team for the work that goes into the production of the annual report. It's a very important statement as we bring that financial year to a conclusion, setting out what the Health Board has done, our areas of responsibility and those key areas of challenge, and also importantly key areas of improvement and performance. So if I can thank colleagues for the way in which this has been set out. Again, there's a public statement. I think it's a very useful public document because it does help to inform the population of Cymraeg Morgannwg about the work of the Health Board and of course those areas of work that we're continuing to advance. Okay, we can move on to item 3 on the agenda, and that is the end of year financial position of 2022-23. And if I can now ask Mark Thomas to present the end year financial position. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. The purpose of my presentation is to give a brief overview, really, of the financial performance of the Health Board in 22-23. If you have the next slide, please. Firstly, a couple of words of introduction. The Health Board has prepared a set of consolidated accounts for 22-23. Which is different to some of the other health boards because it includes the 2 hosted functions of WISC and ESC, and the accounts now show the consolidated position, but also the standalone health board position, which excludes Wisconsin. And for the purpose of the presentation today, I'm only concentrating on the health board only position. And the three bits I want to cover are the key targets, where are we against those, look at the balance sheet summary position, and also very briefly the financial outlook for 23-24. There are four key targets I want to talk about, and we've achieved two, and we didn't achieve the other two. We didn't meet the statutory duty to have an approved IMTP for the 3-year period, and also we didn't meet the duty to break even against our revenue resource limit. However, we did meet the duty to break even against the capital resource limit, and we did meet the prompt payment target as well. I'll say a little bit more about these targets on these next few slides. In terms of the requirement to have an approved 3-year plan, that's a requirement of the planning framework issued by Welsh Government. We did submit an IMTP back in last March. For that had a planned deficit for 22-23 of 26.5 million. We improved on that position and delivered an outturn of 24.5. But because we didn't have a balanced plan, the Welsh Government couldn't approve the plan, and therefore we failed on that particular statutory duty. Next slide, please. In terms of the next duty of achieving operational financial balance from a revenue perspective, the target is for our net revenue spend to be within the revenue resource limit issued by Welsh Government, measured over a 3-year period. And you can see from the slide, 2021 small surplus, 21-22 small surplus, but in 22-23 we had the significant deficit, which was circa 25 million. Measured over the 3 years, we're therefore in deficit, so we didn't meet that particular financial target. Next slide, please. This is just giving you a brief summary of the spend, 1.3 billion of spend over the major categories of expenditure. Primary healthcare, fairly static. Healthcare with other providers, fairly static. The main increase has been in hospital and community health services. Next slide, please. So the third target, the operational financial balance then from a capital perspective, similar to revenue, we got a requirement for spend to be within the capital resource limit issued by Welsh Government, again measured over a 3-year period. We've had a small surplus for each of the last 3 years, cumulatively in surplus, therefore we've met that particular target. And this slide just gives you a very high level summary of where have we spent our capital expenditure. And you can see it's hugely dominated by the Prince Charles Hospital refurbishment. And then you can also see the purchase of the former BA site for Lancashire Health Park as well. Next slide, please. And then the last target is the prompt payment target to pay. We got a target to pay 95% of our non-NHS invoices within 30 days. And we met that target with a compliance rate of 95.4%. Next slide, please. So balance sheet summary, no real major movements in terms of the balance sheet, but 2 points just to note. Fixed assets has increased by around 32 million. That's largely driven by the new capital expenditure of 72-73. Less depreciation, less also the major impact of the 10 is some impairments that were undertaken during the year. In terms of other assets and liabilities, gone up slightly. One of the major contributors of that is the change of accounting standards in 22-23, where right of use assets have been brought onto the balance sheet for the first time, which has increased both assets and liabilities by around 20 million. But other than those 2 points, no major changes on our balance sheet position. And then the last slide is just giving a very high level brief outlook in terms of what is this year going to mean for us. We submitted our IMTP to Welsh Government for the 3 years, but the plan included in that submission had a planned deficit for the year of 79.6 million. Consequently, the plan hasn't been approved by Welsh Government. Our latest forecast at month 5 is consistent with the planned deficit. So what that means is it's likely that in 23-24, we're also not going to be able to achieve the 2 key targets that we haven't achieved in 22-23. I'll stop there and happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mark. Can I ask if any colleagues have any questions or comments on the financial report? No? Okay, thank you, Mark. I thank you as Deputy Director of Finance and all of the team in our Finance Directorate for the work, again, that's put into the production of the report and the accounts. I think a very, very clear picture of the resources available to the Health Board and some of the challenges the Health Board faces. So thank you much indeed. Much appreciated. Thank you. Item 4, we always provide an opportunity for a question and answer session. And I would normally address any questions that have been raised by members of the public prior to the meeting, but we did give the opportunity to members of the public to raise questions. No questions have been raised, so we don't have any in front of us today to respond to. However, we will be and have always then provided opportunities for the public to engage in our work and to raise questions with us as the board goes through its usual cycle of business. So, and of course, you know, as a health board, we're always looking to improve the way in which we engage with our communities, to find new ways of making the board and its work more visible. But on this occasion, there are no questions from the public. So that does bring us very swiftly towards the end of our annual general meeting. Rydw i nawr dod cyfarfod blynyddol cyffredinol a derbyn ac hofyn y diolch i bawb sydd wedi cyfrannau at eu cyfarfod heddiw ni sydd wedi bod yn gwylio. I now bring the annual general meeting to a close and would like to extend my thanks to all members of the board and also to those who will be participating and observing the meeting virtually. That concludes our meeting. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.